Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. As Amy mentioned, today I'll be going through my coat of arms. Now, for those not so familiar, I imagine most of us are, but the coat of arms actually came from the medieval times in Europe, where the Vikings had to carry around with them their coat of arms to essentially say who they were because they were all gowned up with all of their armor. So today I'm going to elaborate a little bit for those who maybe have joined this team or this club after me, so you can learn a little bit more about me. And the different subjects that I will be covering is this template: my home life, my education work life, my interests and non-work life, and if money were no object life. I will end it with my favorite quote and exactly what I'm hoping to get out of Toastmasters. So to start off with, I grew up in Southern California. This is where I lived my whole entire life until 7 years ago. We decided to move up to the Pacific Northwest. This is where I've been raising with my husband, our 3 kids. A couple weeks ago, we did True Lies, and I said that I had a twin sister. That was in fact a lie. I do have a twin brother, and I have sisters that are twins, and my entire family all still lives either Southern California or Arizona because they like the heat, and apparently I like the wet. But prior to moving to the Pacific Northwest, I would always say that Santa Barbara was the furthest north I had lived, which is where I went to undergrad for my bachelor's in biochemistry. Now, biochemistry, why did I choose that? In high school, I was like, oh, biology is good, but kind of boring. Chemistry is fun, but kind of hard. And I saw this biochemistry. I was like, might as well check it out. And apparently that's kind of my motto throughout the course of my life is, what else can I be doing? It really tied in well to getting into the biopharmaceutical industry, having that background in biochemistry. But before that, I did do a stint with the Department of Food and Agriculture, where I got to go around Santa Barbara County placing fruit fly traps and smelling the lovely peaches and everybody else's nice yards. And that kind of got me into gardening, but I'll get back to that in a second. So what I like to say is I grew up in this biopharmaceutical GMP environment. And for those that are not familiar, GMP is essentially the regulations and guides that are put in place by some of the other agencies like the FDA that says this is how you need to manufacture to make sure that if you have a product, it is stable, it is effective, and it's not detrimental to the patients. So in the last 10 years, I've worked at a couple different companies that do cell therapy, and we create products that are ultimately curing cancer. Now, this is something that steered me because I have a history of cancer in my family, and this is something that really drives me. But if I were to talk about my non-work life, it would be gardening. So coming out to the Pacific Northwest, this is kind of something you could really only do 3 months out of the year. So what do I do the rest of the year? I like to read. As you probably have noticed, a lot of my speeches end up being me giving a book report because it was something profound that I maybe read and I wanted to share with other people. And as Barb and Robert can appreciate, I love Sudoku. So if I'm not reading and I'm not gardening, you can probably find me trying to catch up on all my Sudoku desk calendars. Now, I'll tell you, I haven't completed one of those since I've had kids. But this is the year. I'm only 1 month behind this year. And I have a competition with my son that I will complete it this year. Now, if I wasn't doing all of this, if money were no object, I would like to go on an around the world cruise. Nancy was gracious enough to give her speech on her experience doing the Alaskan cruise. And I would say that maybe that would be my stepping stone. And someday I would like to travel the entire world to see on a cruise, because if anybody here has done a cruise, you know that this is essentially a traveling hotel. So wouldn't it be nice to be able to see the entire world without actually having to pick up and move and travel to get to where you want to go? I think it would be, and that's what I would do. Now, if there was a quote that I had to live by, it would be, don't panic. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, medieval knights would carry their coat of armor onto the battlefield. And some people say that public speaking, the stage could be the battlefield. Now, if I also go back to Nancy's theme last week of relaxing, and if anybody saw the TED Talk, I would like to use that mantra of don't panic to really build that biology of courage and really just make myself happier and healthier and appreciate the stress and anxiety that might come from stepping up to this battlefield. Now, if I might not be traveling the galaxy, but as I traverse my life, I would like to exude confidence and have this manual that would say in large friendly letters, don't panic. Now, what I would like to get out of Toastmasters is really just enhancing my communication and leadership skills. I joined this club maybe a little over a year and a half ago, and that was about the same time that we were coming out of the pandemic. And I'll tell you, working from home, not really having to have all those social interactions, my work circle was a little small. So to come back and be in person, it took time to relearn how to adequately communicate with others. And what I like most about this club is my ability to learn from others. With that, I would like to close on a quote from Jim Tracy, who we haven't seen recently, but is one of my favorite Toastmasters around here, is take what you like and leave what you don't. I hope you enjoy myself reintroducing.